Welcome to anxiety management. In this course, of course, we're going to start by defining anxiety, looking at symptoms of anxiety, also causes of anxiety. We're going to share a case study, personal case study of my overcoming social anxiety to the point where I presented award-winning public speaking. I presented in award-winning public speaking competitions. Furthermore, we're going to look at how the Resilient Stars program, the social emotional curriculum, would be useful and has been useful in helping participants to overcome and cope better with anxiety, milder, more mild forms of it, generalized anxiety disorder. And that would be specifically what we would be focusing on for this anxiety management course. I'm just going to share my presentation with you now. Hold on. Okay. And so we're looking at anxiety management. I'm just going to share this show. According to Byrne, 1995, anxiety affects your whole being. It is physiological, behavioral, psychological, all at once. Physiologically, we're looking at how the body reacts, such as a rapid heartbeat, muscle tension, queasiness, dry mouth, or sweating. Behaviorally, it can sabotage your ability to act, express yourself, or deal with certain situations. Psychologically, it is a subjective state of apprehension, and its extreme form can cause you to feel detached from yourself, even as though you're going crazy. Now, my story, I rose from social anxiety to being an award-winning public speaker. And that helped, spending years of formulating what has become known as the Resilient Stars program. Okay, so the first incident or trauma that occurred for me was a major, what I perceived to be a major embarrassment. I was in a large examination room when something very dreadful occurred to me. From that point on, I experienced having severe fears of leaving my home. I did not tell anyone about this at the time. I just sort of tried to get the courage I didn't even know what I was experiencing, right? I just tried to have the courage to just leave my home and go to school to finish my degree, my first degree in behavioral sciences. My symptoms were fast heart rate, trembled, I had a lot of sweating, I had to go to the bathroom quite often for, queasiness, upset stomach, feeling a sense of numbness. It was just really horrible. And to continue the symptoms of anxiety, some people also experience choking, dizziness or unsteadiness, feeling a sense of detachment from themselves, having hot flashes. All of a sudden, they feel as though they have a fever coming on. Fear of dying. Some people actually feel as though they are going to die. And fear of going crazy or losing control. Now let's look at the causes of anxiety. We have two main causes, always the nature versus nurture discussion, right? The genetic predisposition, perhaps someone in your family used to experience anxiety, or environmental, as I discussed, having something that I perceived as traumatic happen to me in front of a lot of people in an examination room, or life-changing events, even marriage, getting married could have, some people could experience anxiety from that. Right now, we want to be very careful in understanding how anxiety differs from an anxiety disorder. right? So anxiety is it's a reaction to feeling afraid that's usually short-lived. You usually have something that's very specific that you are afraid of, that it doesn't last, right? So it's the disorders are more intense, right? That flooding of emotions that we discussed, the behavioral, physiological, and psychological impact. It usually lasts longer. Your anxiety, if you're experiencing anxiety, it might last an hour or a day. When we're talking about the disorder, it lasts for about a month or more. And it could lead to phobias that interfere with your daily life, right? With your relationships, with your ability to do your work. And so this is the point where many people seek professional assistance, that they really are tired with anxiety bombarding their life. Interestingly enough, I did not seek professional assistance for the social anxiety that I experienced. My father, Anthony Robinson, actually, he bought me this book. I strongly recommend it. The Anxiety and Phobia Workbook. He bought me this in my early 20s, and it really turned things around for me. I was determined not to have anxiety plague my daily life experiences. Anxiety disorders, according to the DSM-5, which is a diagnostic statistical manual for mental health conditions, includes separation anxiety disorders, selective mutism, specific phobia, social anxiety disorder, panic attack specifier, generalized anxiety disorder, substance or medication induced anxiety disorder, anxiety due to another medical condition, as well as agoraphobia, fear of public transportation, open and closed spaces, etc. Right. So as I shared, for the purposes of this course, we would be looking more at generalized anxiety disorder, just the overall fear and incessant worry. And I would love to recommend an assessment if you'd like to know just how you do or how you stand with anxiety. Feel free to take the Generalized Anxiety Disorder Assessment, GAD-7, and you could always email me to let me know what your score was. Now we're going to get to the Resilient Stars program. It is a program that I developed and copywrote based on my experience, as you know, my personal experience and clinical experience as a clinical psychologist for the Caribbean, as well as a licensed drug and alcohol counselor. Now, what I did was I combined cognitive behavioral therapy and motivational interviewing to create a program that's based on building resilience. So the focus isn't on anxiety or depression or low self-esteem, but rather something that really harmonizes it all, understanding resilience and the application of core resiliency skills. And so that's what you're going to learn in this course, self-awareness, right? Understanding how we respond, understanding our triggers, our symptoms. Really, you are the master of yourself. No clinician could tell you or could deem how you're going to fare with a particular challenge, such as anxiety, right? You have to decide, just as I did, that I was not going to have this anxiety rule over my life. And many of our participants for the Resilient Stars program make that exact same decision, that they are going to live happy and full lives because they deserve it. Next, we look at attention, right? Being able to be mindful of when you experience symptoms of anxiety, learning how to just observe them and say to yourself, okay, I'm experiencing mild anxiety at the moment, and that's okay, right? You are going to have the skills to know what to do when. Letting go mentally, we're going to teach you Dr. David Burns' technique on understanding labeling unhelpful thoughts, which really, as I shared earlier, is the crux of what drives feelings of anxiety as well as depression. Next, we look at letting go physically, learning how to relax, right? We're going to do things like diaphragmatic breathing and progressive muscle relaxation. And finally, teaching how to access and retain positive emotions. So very successful people practice focusing on what's good, what they're grateful for, what they have, right? Those of us who tend to be more prone to anxiety may think of what we don't have, what we wish we had. We're either in the past or trying to project into the future. And we just simply need to be with the present, right? And that's why mindfulness has been really, really powerful in helping us. And so you're going to learn these skills from the Resilient Stars social emotional curriculum, a really, really powerful curriculum that I am most excited about because it's been helping so many of our participants and it will help you as well. In conclusion, we've defined anxiety. I shared my own story, symptoms of anxiety, types of anxiety, and the Resilient Stars program approach to anxiety. We look forward to your feedback. We love to hear how you are enjoying your lectures. Please stay tuned and see you for lecture 1.